Streaming is started. Let me check real quick. So, still noob streaming. So I got this email, AWS training and certification. Then I tried to click on this link. It was a pain in the butt. So I'm using a bunch of different ways to log in. AWS Builder is really great. So I'm going through here. This is my AWS console. I'm logged in. And so it has multi-session support. And cool, we're all set up. So I'm going to go over AWS certification. I just switched. I got what is that? Attention deficit of cloud. That's fine. So there's a lot of different certifications. There's different reasons why you want to do different certifications. This is foundational level. So this one is what I'm going to focus on. AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner. Let me zoom in if anybody wants to see. Validate overall understanding of the AWS Cloud. This exam is intended for individuals who can effectively demonstrate overall knowledge of the AWS Cloud, independent of a specific job role. This is really good for me. This is very easy. It's going to be just 1 hour instead of 90 minutes. And it's $100 instead of $150 for the ones below. And after this, I get half off on the next test, which I'm going to go down here and do the architect. Oh, is it associate? There it is, architect associate. Machine learning associate, developer associate, data engineer, cloud ops. Okay, so I'm going to go into this one. And that's the CLF CO2. Certified Cloud Practitioner. So here's the topics. There's the introduction, target candidate description. So it explains the value of the cloud. That's easy. So the target candidate is up to 6 months of exposure to AWS cloud design, implementation, and or operations. The candidate might be in the early stages of pursuing an AWS cloud career, or the candidate might work with people in AWS cloud roles. The target candidate should have knowledge in the following areas: AWS Cloud Concept, Security and Compliance, Core AWS, Economics of AWS Cloud. So this is the best one for the fundamentals, I think. Anyways, just go on. I see job tasks, coding, design cloud architecture, troubleshooting, implementing, load and performance testing. Exam content is multiple choice, multiple response. So this multiple choice, one correct. Multiple response is 2 or more responses. All right, so 15 unscored questions. That's just their practice. So you get 15 weird questions, and you might just freak out. Just don't freak out on them. Unscored content, exam results. You get a pass or fail. There's a minimum standard established by AWS. It's the same as Google Cloud and Azure. The results of the exam are reported as a scale of 100 to 1,000. You must have 700. Actually, no, Azure showed me the score. Google did not. Your score report should contain a table of classifications. Each section of the exam has specific weighting. Here's the outline. Cloud concepts, security and compliance, cloud technology and services, billing, pricing, and support. Service reference. So there's in scope, out of scope, technologies, and there's a survey. Okay, and then I'm just gonna get out of this. Okay, there's different, go deeper into it. I'm just gonna jump over. So this is called exam prep plan for this test. It's 37 hours. I don't think I'll take that long. So you enroll into it. There's 21 trainings. They just updated it recently, last November. These are the 3 services in here. Elastic Cloud Compute, identity and IAM, identity and access management, simple storage service. So it's people who are preparing for this test, and they have to have like 6 months of exposure. Ooh, maybe this is not for me. This might be way too easy. I might just need to go straight. But I'll get 2 certifications with this. This sort of plan. Oh, deleted it. Let's go back. So these tests down here cost 150, but with half off, it's 75. Sorry, let me get my calculator out. So you can go straight for the 150, or when it's half off, it's 75, plus the first test, it's 175. So it's a difference of $25. 175 minus 150. $25 difference to have 2 tests. So basically, I'm taking this test right now for about $25. And it'll get me warmed up for the next test, because it'll be just 60 minutes. All right. So let's go back up here. So you can roll into it. Keep. I think I'm in here. Am I in it? Yeah. Okay, so this is me. Java Time Dev. And there's the exam prep plan overview. Exam prep plan overview. So there's course navigation. Number 1, search content. Number 2, complete lessons. Number 3, navigate. Okay, did that one. The learning plan. Oh, that was the same thing. Over again, continue. 4-step. Okay, step 1, get to know the exam. Refresh your AWS knowledge and skills. Review the practice for the exam and assess your exam readiness. Then just take it. This just goes over the pictures. All right. Get to know the exam with exam style questions. Review the exam details page. What is this? So you can schedule an exam right now. Let's see if I can get in. I usually like to log in. Let me see, it's probably too small for the audience. Complete your profile. Go to Skills Builder. There it is. I'd like to receive news. Okay. Oh, here it is. This is where you can just assign. So it's got me, my AWS account. How many languages we got? Oh, we got lots of languages. Okay, then we. Okay, your responsibilities, testing rules. I think in here it's like, because you can do it at home. So you can't run any other hardware software that's gonna, mess with it. Let's see. You can't eat or drink, consume, smoke under influence. Can't talk about it with anybody. Disclose it. Claim exam results that you did not validate. Claim. Allow another individual to test. Present false or altered documents. Anyways, yeah. There's a lot of normal rules. Like don't cheat. I'm at least 18. I abide by the rules. That's my name. And I'll put my mailing address. Oh, I can't continue. Anyways, that's to get, the test, schedule it. It's probably really quick too. There's some videos. What certification should I take after? So there's the specific jobs. again. Trainings 21. This is the first one. Let me finish this. Just jumping around. Refresh your AWS knowledge. Take AWS Practitioner Essentials. AWS Technical Essentials modules. Getting associated with the AWS Cloud Essential. I may do this off the screen too, because one may like focus. Time commitment up to 11 hours. So today maybe I'll do 1 or 2, depending on how motivated I am. One's easy. So let's see, that's 11 hours. Main practice course. AWS Escape Room. Oh, I heard about this. Exam prep. Optional for different approach for preparing for the exam. AWS Power Hour series. Watch on LinkedIn, watch on Twitch. I think I got a LinkedIn learning one. Watch on Twitch, that sounds awesome. Let's see. Dev Hour. Deep dive into Amazon Q. Generative AI, that's the big one right now. I need to zoom in a little bit. Special events start to certified. AI practitioner. Let's see. This for example. Oh, you can just watch a replay. That's perfect. It's probably on LinkedIn or that's YouTube. But I guess they don't like YouTube because it's their competitor.
Can you prove that somewhere?
The better, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Oh, they're going over the test.
You know, breaks it down. It's 5th grade. You probably,
if you like videos, keep and then continue. Assess your exam readiness. So time commitment is 2.5 hours here. So it's different. So 2.5 here, 11 here, 2 to 4 weeks. I'm doing 2 weeks. I'm just gonna blast through it. 6 hours. Okay. Because I have oh man, how do I get out of this? Turn outline. I have experience with Google Cloud and Azure as well, and I'm using AWS already. Let's see. Feedback is important. I did want to certificate of completion. Okay, return to learning plan maybe? Maybe I have like a check done on it. Okay, there's a complete. All right, and then let's go to training. We should cut out some of these things. I'm just gonna leave this one up. I'm going to pin it maybe, or I'll make it one of my favorites. Yes, AWS Skill Builder. I'm gonna put it under. I'm gonna make it right out here. The most important thing right now. Okay, close. And this is the practice question set. So we're down here. Practice question set. Exam prep plan overview. I thought I just did that one. Maybe I didn't refresh it. Okay, that one's complete. I wish I could hide it. Alright, let me close all this other stuff. I like to keep the console up in case I want to look over there. And if you don't have the console, if you're not in AWS, you really need to get that set up. I don't know if you need explanation how to set that up. Maybe I can make a video on that too. How to use the course, yada yada. Next, feedback. Wait a second. What am I missing here? What? Start learning, start. Start. Okay, start. course. Okay, yeah, I already got that. Course overview, there's the sets. I want to get to the questions. Launching question set, redirected bench pip. Yeah, like these are very basic. Let's continue. This is easy. Completing a question set. So, timers. You can actually pause the exam, but in the exam, if you do pause it, you'll have to explain to your proctor, the person who's on the other end. You'd be like, I gotta go to the bathroom. You have to have a real reason. It's not normal. I go to the bathroom before the exam. Eliminating an option. Oh, that's really cool. I like that. And then confirm. Correct answer feedback example. And then you can also review. This is only for the practice exam though. Report content errors. Okay, so that's in the practice again. You can report errors. I don't think you can do that on the real test. Reviewing your results. That's basic. Results. Man, they go over way over detail. Retain question set. Okay. Oh, reset product. I'm starting to hate that word product now. And I hear McDonald's CEO use that for hamburgers. It's like, stop overusing the word product. Everything's a product. It's true. It's either a product or service. And this is a product. Okay. Contact us. Don't need to do that. Download a copy overview. No, I don't need this over and over again. Completion. Start quiz. Oh, cool. Did you successfully complete the question set? Yes. Correct. Keep passing. And I guess I do return to outline. Return to outline. So I think it's going to take me back here. Next. Return to learning plan. So it's going to take me all the way back to here, I think. Right? So those two are completed. Need so many tabs though. Subscription. Certification exam preparation. Go to training. It says subscription up there. I'm scared. Choose your plan. $29 a month. I was told this is free. AWS Certified Practitioner. That's the pre-test. Hold up. Hold up. All right. I'm just gonna have to ask my AI buddy. I didn't think I had to pay for this. Just an hour and a half, just practice, a pre-test. I'm gonna skip that for now. Go to training. Okay. Oh, start. Start learning. That hurts. Start. Just go back. So get all the free stuff out of the way when you can, because the other stuff has a timer on it. I don't want to spend any more money than I have to. It's white paper for the exam. What to expect? This is silly. Yeah, I know this. Oh wait, there's a video?
Exam. In module official practice
It's pretty
exam,
boring.
use this to determine whether you're ready to take
Practice exam guide? No, I don't need a guide. Let me look at it just to see it. Yeah, I know this, I know this. It's just telling you what you need to study. I just want to to study. Wait a second. Yeah, it's for the cloud practitioner. Okay. Man. Okay, reference guide. What is that? Oh, okay. So this is actually very useful. I'm going to zoom in on this one. Actually, maybe I'll just open it up from downloads. Or sorry about that. See if I can just zoom in. Okay, so here's Amazon Athena. This analyzes data directly in Amazon S3. S3 should have it down here. Application, business, cloud, financial, compute. So no computes your computers, EC2, computer capacity, VMs, containers, EKS. There's your Kubernetes. A K in it like that. Azure is AKS and Google Kubernetes is GKS. And Google invented Kubernetes. That tidbit of business information. Database, Aurora. Database engine is compatible with MySQL. NoSQL, Dynamo. Developer tools, Cloud9, CLI. These are good, I think, to make flashcards out of. Or just go over. What's Amazon Comprehend? It uses natural language processing to extract insights from documents. We're talking to Gemini. This is funny. I'm going to show you what Gemini just said. Love this. Don't recommend paying for the subscription yet. You can get everything for free. Okay? I'm always on a budget. If you want to do some of these like $12, $15 on Udemy or Tutorials Dojo, I have 300 plus questions. There's no need to spend $30 on a magical exam. Certified Cloud Practitioner practice tests. Oh, so like actual books. That actually might be good to read. Okay, stick to free tier. Okay, let's move that out of the way. I just had to talk to him real quick. Okay, hello, Gemini. Management and governance. Migration transfer, network content. IAM, where are you? IAM. Helps users securely controlled access to AWS resources. This is for every cloud. You must know IAM. Why don't I click on that? That's cool. It pops up the whole thing. So it says, what is IAM? Identity and access management. And it goes through it all. If you don't know anything about it, there's a lot of details. Don't burn out on too many details all at once. All right, security, identity, storage. This I was trying to look for a minute ago. S3 is your basic scalable object storage. This is your basic storage. So here it is. What is S3? It's an object storage service that offers scalability, availability, security, and performance. Customers of all sizes use S3. It's basically a hard drive. It's your hard drive on Amazon. Storage class. So you can have many different types of storage classes. How do you store your data? You know, like memory stick or hard drive or a solid state drive. Life cycles. Object locks, replication. There's a lot of good stuff in here. It's very, very long too. Oh, I saw a picture. There we go. Client 1, write 1, and read 1. So they actually color code these as well. Color red, ruby, ruby, ruby. Don't know why that's different. That's cool. Use consistency model. I like pictures, it makes it easier to understand. Oh, that red down here turns into ruby. WT does not finish before the start of one. Ooh. Now it's garnet because they're at the same time over here. Two different colors because they're doing two different things. Garnet brick. It could be garnet or brick or the opposite. Cool. All right, get rid of that. I like S3. Actually, my website's on S3. It's just a basic website. You should just have 3 files. I liked that. I just keep making more pages. AWS support plans comparison or trusted advisor checks. I don't know what that is. Ooh, I love this. This looks really cool. So this is called a shared responsibility model. This is for all clouds, whether it's Amazon, Google, Azure. This is responsibility for the customer's responsibility. So we are responsible for customer data. AWS is responsible for hardware, availability zones, edge locations, regions, compute, storage, database, and its software. But there's different shared responsibilities. We get patches, configuration, training, and awareness. Yes. Customer needs to manage the guest operating system. Let's see, the whole global infrastructure. The security, the physical security, and the connections. That's really cool. Like when it's colorful. What's that? I saved that one. I did like white papers. AWS pricing. What is this? Overview. What is AWS?
Delivery of technology, learning, and artificial intelligence.
Wow, that's what is AWS? Put like a YouTube is blocked. I'm sorry. Maybe I should pause my VPN. Try that again. YouTube is completely blocked. It's probably because I'm streaming right now. Oh well. I was just gonna share those. Let's see if I can open that link address. Let's see. So there's the link address for what is AWS. I'll just put it in the chat if anybody wants it. Also in the chat, I'm gonna put in this. Where is it? That's my downloads. Motion console, skill builder. Let's see if I can just go to that. Skill builder by itself. I'll put that in the chat. Okay. Done that one. We done. Oh, architect frame. Let's get rid of the console. I'll go to it later. Shared responsibility model. This we're just going through. And here's pricing. This is hard even for advanced users. Some people make mistakes here. But what they're always going to compare to is on-premise against cloud. So they're just saying on-premise costs are usually high in the beginning. I don't know why that looks like low in the beginning. Flat rate. Saving the commit, pay less, by using more. Let's just buy now. And compare AWS support plans. Okay, this is if you want support in your business, paying somebody to help you. Register for the exam, and how to do that. Take a moment, proctor exam. If you don't, definitely review that. So we're going to go back. So that's done. Learning plan. Complete. AWS Certified Practitioner. Go to training. Keep. Introduction to Cloud Concepts. Let's start this. Start. Print it up. Choose start course. How to start this course. Search, expand, menu, introduction to Cloud Concepts. Oh, they've got a video.
Let's get started with Domain 1, Principles of the AWS Cloud. AWS well-architected framework of cloud economics and started to evaluate your readiness for the exam in the next.
Okay, benefits. So basically better than.
Let's get
on-premise.
started with pooling. AWS
On-demand.
provides pooled resources to serve
pooling,
multiple different AWS
elasticity.
customers possible. So it maximizes the system.
Availability.
Disaster recovery is
yep.
sizing your Amazon EC2 instances to a larger size. If you are using a
Okay, this is
T2
good to know.
micro, you
Vertical
might
versus
need to
horizontal.
resize to a T2 medium or larger. And by
So remember, vertical, it's kind of like going up in size of one power. I don't know how I say this. Power up one thing. Like turning into normal guy to Captain America to the Hulk or something like that. And horizontal is having one guy turn into an army. So it's just a bunch of same guys. Either one's fine, it just depends on your situation. Oh, this is good for every cloud though. This is good cloud concepts.
optimization, which are all pillars of the
auto-scale.
AWS
Scale back
well-architected
down.
framework. Here are a few exam tips. Vertical scaling
Okay, identify design principles.
identifies is the ability. This pillar focuses on elasticity, and an advantage of AWS is being
Understand the benefits of the strategies for migration to the AWS cloud.
instead of on-premises operations. Last is the reinvention stage, where all new projects start in Amazon Elastic File System, AWS Snowball Edge, Amazon Simple Storage, fast and predictable performance with scalability. NoSQL and non-relational are keywords for DynamoDB, just as relational is a keyword for Amazon RDS. Amazon DynamoDB is a key value and document database and stores JSON-type documents. You use a Windows server with SQL Server Standard AMI, so you do not need to buy or manage your own license. Well, AWS offers multiple
licenses.
Amazon Machine Images, or AMIs, for Amazon EC2 instances. If you launch an Amazon EC2 instance using a Windows AMI, you can choose one bundled with SQL Server Standard, and you do not need to
saving money
purchase your
bundling.
own license from Microsoft. You could possibly choose the Amazon RDS database instance that runs SQL Server Standard and purchase the license. But the question asks for cost optimization, and Amazon RDS costs more than Amazon EC2 because Amazon RDS is a managed service. Also, Amazon Aurora only supports MySQL and PostgreSQL,
Aurora.
not SQL Server. Another area of focus for this task statement is data backups, because you need a plan in place to store your data once migrated. Ensure you understand the cost storage options for the AWS storage services. For example, Amazon S3 Glacier storage classes
Sure, I
are
don't know about
designed to be the lowest cost Amazon S3
It's
storage
cold.
classes,
That makes sense.
allowing you to archive large amounts of data at a very low cost.
Cool.
But you do have to consider the retrieval fees and the retrieval times. Let's get started with the fourth task statement and talk about cloud economics.
Very cool. Cloud economics. Okay, I'm just trying to zoom in. Cloud economics. So it's all about money, right?
So you know design principles and recommends you adopt a consumption model and only pay for what you consume. Stop spending money on data centers and data center operations. Measure your overall efficiency and analyze and track your cost and usage, and then use AWS Managed Services to reduce the overall cost of ownership, because remember, AWS offers a lower cost because of economies of scale. When you stop spending money on data centers and pay for what you consume, your technical resources are freed up and are available to prioritize other activities. Activities such as optimizing resource utilization, creating more efficient applications, developing better end-user experience, and more areas that will help your organization streamline operations and generate more revenue. For the exam, it is also important to understand how to operate in AWS partially, but also fully, because either can affect the ownership and operational cost for your organization. There are 4 parts of total cost of ownership, or TCO, for AWS to focus on for this exam. Operational expenses, or OpEx, which are your day-to-day operating costs such as utilities, printer, toner, coffee, and snacks. Capital expenses, or CapEx, which are the costs associated with creating the longer-term benefits, such as purchasing a building, servers, your printer that uses the toner mentioned before, and your power backups. Evaluating how strongly the use of services in Domain 3, Cloud Technology and Services. I know I've been mentioning various service, benefits, tools, and features to meet different requirements and use cases, and it is a lot to remember and understand. But as we go through this course, we will continue to identify keywords for different services and try to take the topics and concepts and build on each of them.
Okay. Cloud computing. Why AWS? What is AWS? There's a video again. Breakthrough innovations. Security. Probably a security guy right there. Leading cloud innovators. Epic Games uses AWS. No way. That's awesome. Canva harnesses AI to transform complex design tasks. That's also good with AWS. Maybe they use AWS. AWS gives you the greatest choice of flexibility by offering the broadest and deepest set of cloud and AI capabilities. Amazing. Financial services, media and entertainment. This is one of my favorite too. They're all amazing. Everything in here is. Okay, United, Siemens, Toyota, Netflix, Volkswagen, Adidas. Google has Puma. You know that. Just saw that video the other day. All right. What is cloud computing? Oh, they got Wikipedia here of what is cloud computing. Paradigm for enabling network access to scalable and elastic pool of shareable physical and virtual resources with self-service provisioning and administrator on demand. It is commonly referred to as the cloud. So all these devices can get online and control these things. AWS well-architected framework. Now this is what I really like. Let's see if there's anything good in here. Architect labs. Ooh. Ooh. Y'all seeing this? Well, architect labs. Get started. Well, architect tool. What am I doing in here? Oh, that's cool. There's a whole tool for it. Management tools. Where am I? Oh, architect tool. Dashboard. I've never seen this before. Oh, architect tool. This came out of nowhere. That is so cool. So I wonder if there's like, oh yep, there's cost optimizations. workshop is this? How to run AWS. I understand how it's so overwhelming for a lot of people. I see a lot of people go in and out of the chat. They're like, what is this? And it's really hard to get in the middle of it and understand, but it's fun to run through it. And if you play around with it, you may grow to like it. And then if you use other clouds, you see how they are very, very similar. Okay, there's the framework again. Peer review. What is this? There's a workshop here. Workshop scenario. Unicorn rentals. Are we renting unicorns? Customers are leaving. CEO has taken the CFO and the customer success manager to find out what's going on. I like these little stories. The CFO discovers that customers are canceling their monthly subscriptions and are renting less units. So we are renting unicorns. If only that was a real company. The company migrated all of their IT services to the cloud, but their computing costs are now higher than their unicorn rental revenue. The CSM checked feedback reports and discovered that customers are complaining a lot about the unicorn rental application not being available when they need it. Not a week has gone past without the company getting negative reviews on social media. Okay, so they have some problems. They've got serious cloud issues. They have to regain profitability. That's most important for a company, right? Improve customer retention. They got to keep their customers, or they're going to start losing money as well. Reduce application downtime. So this is make the customer happy. Unicorn rental application. It's a web application running on a virtual server. How AWS will help. AWS team is here to help Unicorn Rental improve their architectural health and guide them through the well-architected framework process. That's what this is all about. That's cool. Prepare. Oh, it's like a whole story over here. So prepare all this stuff, review it, improve it, and wrap up. That's really cool. That is really cool. That is a lab. That is really cool. Okay, so going down the rabbit hole, right? Migration transfers. This is really important because people are migrating from on-premise to the cloud. Cloud economics. Here. Key. AWS pricing calculator. That's every cloud has this. Create estimates. Sign in for personalized. I'm signed in. Create workload estimate. Okay, yeah, I know this one. I'm not going to do it right now. I don't think it's going to be this first test. And return to outline. Oh, lost a bunch of people. Clean that up. Nobody's looking. Can't return the learning plan. I think we're over here. Refresh. Complete. This is just tests. It says 65 questions, limit of 90 minutes. And this is level 1 practice. I mean, 2 of you. And 3. All these have. What the heck? Which one is this one? This is the main 3 area. I do 2? I didn't do 2 yet. Compute resources. Oh, I gotta start. Okay. Cloud technology and services. Wait a second. I'm gonna do 2 first. Introduction, security, and compliance. I don't know. I think I might just need to skip all of
Let's
this.
get started with Domain 2, which covers security and compliance. This domain covers the AWS Shared Responsibility Model, security, access management, and compliance. Measures need to be put in place, and when security measures are already put in place by AWS for you. Domain 2, Security and Compliance, is broken into 4 task statements that we'll discuss over the next few lessons. Task Statement 2.1, Understand the AWS Shared Responsibility Model. Task Statement 2.2, Understand AWS Cloud Security, Governance, and Compliance Concepts. Task Statement 2.3, Identify AWS Access Management Capabilities. And Task Statement 2.4, Identify Components and Resources for Security. For the first task statement, we will focus on the AWS Shared Responsibility Model. Being a cloud practitioner means you need to be able to determine when you need to secure resources within AWS and the depth to which you need to be involved for security, which can vary from service to service. For the second task statement, we will focus on understanding security, governance, and compliance concepts. For the third task statement, we will focus on access
Shared responsibility. This seems easy though.
belongs to AWS, and when customer have no control over any of this, and you don't have to worry about this infrastructure. Now, this is where your responsibility comes in. You are responsible for the operating system and upwards. So that would be things like client-side data encryption, integrity, authentication,
Setup.
server-side encryption, and protecting the network traffic. And that includes encrypting your data, using SSL certificates, and so on. You are responsible for all of this, as well as the operating system and the network and firewall configurations. You are responsible for your application and your identity access management. So you allow people to have
yes.
certain access
There's
to
no
your
way.
account and the
There's no way AWS is going to be responsible for identity access management. Okay. EC2 is unmanaged. You have more control over the service and therefore more responsibility over that EC2 that's running. The key takeaway is the level of responsibility the customer assumes. So if you're doing more, you have like just the virtual machine, you have to take care of everything. AWS is responsible for services like RDS, EC2. It just said EC2 was unmanaged. Oh, you have to know the difference. Where AWS is where. Let's get started. Cloud governance. Ooh, there's my video. Hide this.
Let's get started with the second task statement to understand AWS Cloud Security, Governance, and Compliance concepts. When you're working with AWS, you need to ensure security and compliance are considered when making design decisions. We mentioned this earlier under Domain 1 when we talked about choosing AWS regions to understand compliance needs among geographic locations and industries. AWS Compliance helps you understand the controls in place at AWS to maintain security and data protection in AWS, along with assurance programs that provide templates and control mappings to help customers establish the compliance of their environments running on AWS.
Yeah.
Even if you're not the person who would actually be building the solutions on AWS, you should be aware of how to find information about security and compliance and what services exist to support a security and compliance plan.
Good pace.
The first thing you should know about compliance on AWS is where to find compliance information. We just mentioned AWS compliance programs. Let's say you are building out a solution on AWS that requires a General Data Protection Regulation or GDPR compliance status, and you want to use the service Amazon DynamoDB to store your data. How do you know if DynamoDB is GDPR compliant? Where could you find this information? You can find compliance information through the service AWS Artifact, which gives you on-demand access to the AWS security and compliance documents and reports. Now notice the question I asked was about how to find compliance information for DynamoDB. I didn't ask, is it GDPR compliant? There is a reason for this. Each individual AWS service has differences in regards to compliance. One service may require one set of actions to be taken to be compliant with a compliance standard, whereas another AWS service would require a different set of actions to be taken to reach the same compliance standards. So am I saying you need to memorize every single compliance program and which AWS services meet those requirements? Luckily, that level of detail won't be on the exam. Instead, you should understand where to find compliance information and be able to identify that compliance requirements do vary from service to service. Beyond recognizing where to find compliance information, you should also be prepared to answer questions around the different ways compliance and security can be achieved on AWS from a high level. When you're thinking about compliance and security, the main thing you're trying to do is protect systems and information. How do you secure resources on AWS? What if you want to add more security to your network beyond security groups and network access control lists? What other AWS service can you use? AWS WAF and Amazon GuardDuty are AWS security services. GuardDuty is a threat detection service to monitor for malicious activity and unauthorized behavior. AWS WAF is a web application firewall to help protect your applications from common exploits that could impact your application availability, compromise your security, or consume excessive resources. What AWS service helps to protect your resources from common distributed denial of service or DDoS attacks? AWS Shield is a managed DDoS protection service to help safeguard your applications running on AWS. There are other security services too, such as Amazon Inspector, AWS Security Hub, and more. Another way to secure data on AWS is through encryption. Encryption is a definite fundamental you need to know for this certification and the real world. Let me know if you want to take a deeper dive. I have some encryption fundamentals I can share. Encryption isn't a single thing that you do one time. There are many different ways you can use encryption techniques. For example, there is encryption of data in transit and encryption of data at rest, between encrypting data in different AWS services, which leads us back to the AWS shared responsibility model, but also requires AWS service-specific knowledge. You can find information on encryption in the AWS white papers on the activity happening in your AWS account. Activity in an AWS account could
locations, industries differ, AWS compliance, AWS artifact, understand why to find compliance information. She said that earlier. CloudWatch, CloudTrail, Audit Manager. I'll kite in. And let's get next. Oh, there it is. Access management capabilities. Okay, cool.
Let's get started. First, you should understand the need for you within an account. You need a way to control the level of access that they have. For example, someone who is an analyst likely won't need administrator access for the service Amazon EC2 like a systems administrator may need. You should familiarize yourself with the concept of principle of least privilege,
Yes.
where you only give users exactly the level of access they need to do their work and nothing more. Security is another fundamental needed for this exam of IAM based on the use case. You will encounter very simple systems operating in a single AWS account. Services you provision in your AWS account generate a bill, and that is billed to you from the payment method you choose when you create your account. Remember, for the exam, ensure you have studied the different ways you can lock down your AWS account root user to protect it. This includes the use of multi-factor authentication, securely locking away the root user credentials, rotating access keys and the password for the root user, and simply not using this root user for daily tasks, but instead, AWS recommends that you configure an admin user in AWS IAM Identity Center to perform daily tasks and access AWS resources. There are a limited number of tasks that require root user access, and you should be familiar with what those tasks are. For the exam, know which tasks you can perform as the root user of an account. You can change your account settings, restore IAM user permissions, activate IAM access to the billing and management console, and more. You can also create an account alias in IAM, which substitutes the account ID in the web address for your account for IAM users. Secondly, you should know the different features AWS IAM has to offer and understand when you would use them. The features I'm referring to are IAM users, groups, roles, and policies. You should be able to explain things like how IAM users have associated usernames and passwords, access keys for the programmatic access, how users can have MFA enabled for their login, and how you can enforce password complexity and access key and password rotation. Know how to organize users into groups and how that affects permissions when AWS actions are taken. You need to know how permissions in AWS work and how you can apply IAM policies to users, groups, or roles and the impact that has on an entity's access. I mentioned IAM roles, and it is something you should be very familiar with before attempting this exam. Roles are temporary credentials that can be assumed by various entities and have many use cases. For example, some use cases are a user can assume a role to gain temporary access to permissions, a program can assume a role to gain access to AWS credentials to make AWS API calls, or you can use roles for cross-account access. Do you know when it is better to use an IAM role rather than an IAM user?
Always.
IAM roles can be used to provide AWS services permissions to do certain actions and also to give outside entities permissions to perform actions in your.
All right. So a user will never change their name, but a user will change their jobs. That's why you always give access by role, not username. Policies go over everything.
Your AWS account. Here's another question. What AWS service can you use to provide temporary AWS credentials for users that have been authenticated through their social media logins and guest users who do not require authentication? Amazon Cognito, and specifically Amazon Cognito Identity Pool, can provide temporary AWS credentials for this use case. Diving deeper, Amazon Cognito User Pool is a user directory in Amazon Cognito, and it doesn't enable access to unauthenticated identities. You have to use Identity Pool instead. Third, understand IAM policies. There are different types of IAM policies in AWS, managed policies and unmanaged. You should know the difference between the two types of policies, who can create each type of policy, and who can edit or modify each type of policy. AWS creates and manages managed policies, whereas customers create and manage regular IAM policies. Related to IAM policies, there is an AWS service you can use to test and troubleshoot IAM and your resource-based policies. Do you know what that service is? It is the IAM Policy Simulator. Also, what if you need to add security to your Amazon S3 bucket to only allow access for specific users? Do you create an IAM role, an IAM user policy, or a bucket policy? Well, bucket policies are a type of resource-based policy, and they differ from IAM roles. Bucket policies and user policies are two of the access policy options available for you to grant permissions to your Amazon S3 resources. Both use JSON-based access policy language. You can add a bucket policy to a bucket to grant other AWS accounts or IAM users access permissions for the bucket and the objects in the bucket. User policies are policies that allow an IAM user access to one of your buckets. Let's stay on Amazon S3 and see if you can answer this one. If one of your objects was accidentally deleted from your S3 bucket, what can you implement to prevent unauthorized deletion of any other objects from your bucket? You can configure MFA delete on your S3 bucket, which adds.
That's really cool. MFA delete.
Let's get started with the fourth task statement to identify components and resources for security support. An important thing to remember is as a cloud practitioner, it's likely you yourself will not be building out security solutions, but it is likely that you will be guiding people towards solutions that meet their needs. And in order to do this, you must know what security services exist and how to find more information on them. Take network security, for example. You'll need to be able to answer questions about the basic functionality for AWS security services like security groups, network access control lists, and AWS WAF. You should understand the use cases for these services and the differences between them. Again, you do not need to know the specifics around how these work in depth, but you should know enough to be able to answer questions about when to use each one and their function. For example, what can you use to secure your Amazon VPC subnets? Network access control lists act as a firewall to control traffic traversing your subnet. Know the difference between network access control lists and security groups. Network access control lists are used for traffic entering or leaving a subnet because network access control lists are associated with the subnet, not with the resources. Network access control lists only manage traffic that is crossing that subnet boundary. If you have two Amazon EC2 instances in your Amazon VPC that are communicating, network access control lists will have no involvement because the communication between the two instances are not crossing the subnet boundary. Network access control lists are stateless, in which they only see traffic going one way. So if you allow an inbound rule, then you must also allow an outbound rule, so your network access control list will explicitly see that that traffic that was allowed inbound is also allowed out. Network access control lists see the traffic as two separate different streams, so you must have two rules, one rule for each stream. If you do not add your outbound rule, then the traffic will only be allowed in. Security groups secure your resource level network, such as your Amazon EC2 instances or Amazon RDS instances. They do not operate at the subnet level. They actually operate at the resources elastic network interface level. Security groups also have inbound and outbound rules, but they are stateful, meaning that if the traffic is allowed in, then that traffic is automatically allowed back out. Security groups see both the inbound and outbound traffic as part of the same stream. One big difference between security groups and network access control lists is that security groups recognize AWS resources.
That makes a lot of
You can
sense.
add rules for other security groups or add a rule for the security group themselves. And another is that security groups have a hidden explicit deny, and that means that anything that's not explicitly allowed is denied. For the exam, make sure to understand security groups cannot explicitly deny. If you need to explicitly deny, then you need to use a network access control list. Security groups also accept rules with IP addresses, IP address ranges, and again, the security group IDs as the source or destination for the inbound and outbound rules. Let's continue on talking about AWS security services. What AWS service would you choose if you need to create rules to filter web traffic based on conditions such as IP addresses, HTTP headers, or custom URLs? AWS WAF helps to control traffic with rules that you define that block common attack patterns such as SQL injections or cross-site scripting. Here's another question. Can you conduct security assessment and penetration testing without prior approval against your AWS resources? Yes, but only for certain services. There are also some AWS services like AWS Trusted Advisor or Amazon Inspector that can give you the recommendations around security, and you should be aware of that for the exam. But you should also recognize that sometimes the solution to your security and compliance needs could be third-party software or tools. So where can you find available third-party software that you can deploy in your AWS account? The answer is the AWS Marketplace. Knowing what exists at a high level for AWS services versus the types of solutions you can find via the AWS Marketplace is important knowledge for the exam. It is also likely when working with AWS, you'll need to be able to identify resources to dive deeper into cloud topics when necessary. For security and compliance, there are a few different places you should be comfortable with when and the Security Center is another place for information related to security in AWS. You should also be comfortable reading AWS security blogs and working with the AWS Security Forum to find information.
I was got really peaceful, really quick. That's it. That's weird. So what was this page? AWS Skill Builder. Micro credentials. Classroom. Builder labs. Something I'm missing here. Complete. I'm gonna do all the completes. Or I can't do subscription. Oh no, broken.
Let's get started with Domain 3, covering cloud technology and services. With cloud concepts and security and compliance already covered in
Actually, I'm kind of worn out from hearing that. And I'm sitting here trying to get this sign up for free stuff. Cloud Practitioner. This Cloud Quest. This cohort, my credential. Cloud Operator, System Operator. What the heck happened to my mouse all of a sudden? What the heck? Alright, it's back. Swap that out in a second. Decision maker. There's the foundational, and then associate, and then professional and specialty. Just get anything is fine. And skill builder catalog. I need to go back though. This no. I'm gonna go back. Right here, subscriptions. And it said exam prep practice escape room. It says demo course is available. Card clash. Builder labs. I need to go to the builder labs. That's what I need to do. Builder labs. Is this it? Exam guide. Did I download this? I'll download it real quick. Exam guide. It's just saying what to study. And they make this difficult to do. Really want your money. Technical essentials. Achievements. Feedback. Is that what I'm going for? Essentials. Start. Start. I don't want any more videos. I want something interactive. Okay. Programmable resources, dynamic abilities, and pay as you go. So this is on premise. You buy the servers or whatnot. Okay, interact with AWS.
Let's see what the AWS Management Console looks like.
Whoa, that's
I will sign into the console. I will use I am user. We will touch on this topic later. Now, provide a password and sign into AWS.
Why?
On the right-hand side you can see that I signed in as practice. And, in the drop-down menu here, you can see the number of AWS regions. Click Ohio. And now, whatever resources I decide to launch, these resources will be launched in AWS Ohio region.
Yeah.
This is the main page of the AWS console. Now
So
clicking on
weird.
services, you can see all different service categories that are there on AWS such as analytics, blockchain, compute services, containers, database services, Internet of Things, machine learning and such.
Yeah. Alright, so that's really weird. Instructions, submit. Traditional on-premise. You're responsible for purchasing hardware. Because that's on-premise. Correct. What are 3D benefits of using cloud computing? Pay as you go, dynamic. That's pretty much it. Correct. Okay, what is all this? AWS categories of service. Okay. Watch the corner dant. AWS categories of service. Ooh, we got blockchain. Let's sit back and relax for a second. Here we go. Core service areas. Why is my chair all messed up? Compute, storage, databases, network security. Yeah, that makes sense. That's core. That's the basic stuff. So EC2 is going to be your storage. Elastic Block Store is another store. Oh, EC2 is the compute. Databases, there's Dynamo. There's another storage. And networking, that's the virtual private cloud. And security, I guess we'll do Amazon Route 53. I think that's what that is. Route 53. Domain name registration. That's not security. Maybe security in here. I guess making sure the user gets access. All right. Data center, availability zones, and region. Okay. So in the world, there's a giant region. This is Ireland, West 1. And there's a data center inside one of these availability zones. There's a bunch of availability zones in the region. Trade up no cost for variable costs. Basically, don't build yourself. Just rent. Move to a global presence. Stop spending money. Running and maintaining data centers. It's true. Stop guessing capacity. Benefits from massive economies. Keyboard instructions. Which statement best describes AWS data center? Is where your hardware is located. Not designed to anticipate. There you go. Just where your hardware is located. This up here. Here. I don't know what else they were asking for. This is where your data is located in a data center. Okay, number 4. Elastic Compute Cloud. Compute Services. EC2. Oh, that's cool. What's the focus mode? Oh, get rid of that stuff on the side. That's good. EC2. Containers like Elastic Container Services. Or EKS. Elastic Kubernetes Service. I like everything's here's Elastic. Right. Containers, serverless, edge, hybrid, customer management. EC2. Spout. Oh my god, this goes on forever. Okay. Done. Skill Builder. How much are we listening on this? I don't think I'm worn out of listening to this. And I need my other mouse. I need my other mouse. This mouse is not very good. Oh, that's much better. You know, it's good, it's good. So I have one on here. It's very good. Just delete it. That'd be horrible if I did that though. Okay. So, I really want to do something interactive. Cloud Quest tournament. So James skills by hosting tournaments. Skill Builder Trivia. Where did we get the trivia from? Let's see what got on here. Holy cow, that was loud. That was limited. Limited. Guided labs. Where did labs? Let's see if we got some labs on here. That's complete. So subscription. That's junk. Junk. There's gotta be a lab, right? What? Where's the lab? I feel like I'm getting gypped. Simulearn? What is Simulearn? I'm gonna find Simulearn on here. Simulearn. This isn't even a subscription. I'm gonna get mad. I'll be like, where is this? Oh, I have to complete the learning plan to provide feedback. Man, I'm mad at this. Let's see, summary. Get down to the bottom. More freaking videos. More stinking videos. Let me get to clicky. Okay, don't need that. Course close. What the heck?
Exam options to site to schedule your exam. Ensure that we are creating content that you need.
Wait, I have an idea. Sorry. Resume. Or resume. Course close.
To ensure that we are creating content that you need. Again, I wish you all the best. Now go crush your exam.
It's done. It's done. What was that one? Exam prep. Practitioner essentials. Module 1 introduction to the cloud. Oh, okay. Start. What is this? Was ist los? No te cure. Anyways, gonna say this. Essentials. Cloud. Okay. Essentials.
Hey everyone, welcome to the course. We hope you're ready to dive in and
Yeah.
but don't worry. This is why we're here. Let's think about the coffee shop and how it can represent
doing the
the
coffee shop
client-server model.
Let's have Morgan be the server, the barista, and I'll be the client or the customer. I'm going to make a request. In this case, it's for coffee. In the computing world, the request could be for anything. It could be rain pattern analysis in South Africa, or it could be the latest x-rays of your knee, or videos of kittens. Whatever the business needs is where the request starts. Basically,
His
a
hair.
customer makes a request,
Love it.
and with
better than
permissions,
my
the
hair.
server responds to that request. All I want is a caffeinated beverage. Morgan represents the server part of the client-server model.
I am
In
not a server.
AWS, she would be a virtual server. So from a cloud computing architectural point of view, the coffee shop transaction is pretty straightforward. I, the user, made a request to Morgan for the server. Morgan validated that the request was legitimate. In this case, did I give her money? Is the item that I ordered something that they can make? Then she returned a response, which in this example
That was
is
an
a
empty
triple
cup.
mocha with extra caramel shots.
Now, in the real world, applications are usually more complicated than just a single transaction with a single server. In a business solution that is more mature, it can get beautifully complex. But again, we're going to
Set
start
people
with the
here.
basics. As the curriculum progresses, these basic concepts will continue to build on each other, and hopefully, by the end, those beautifully complex concepts will make a lot more sense. You've already tackled your first cloud computing concept. So now let's continue with a key concept of AWS,
Those
and
are
that
very
is
basic,
you
basic.
only pay for what you use.
Think about this principle as it applies to staffing a coffee shop. Employees are only paid for the hours they work in the actual shop. So if, say, Morgan and I are off the clock, well, then we don't get paid,
Exactly.
folks, as we dive deeper. Thanks for joining us on this learning journey.
All right, the customer
Future
takes a cup of
AWS
coffee.
Cloud Practitioner. See you soon.
Proactively prepares a coffee, makes their own coffee. Customer goes to the barista and places an order. prepares the coffee and hands it back to the customer, and then describes how the client places the request. So I'm just going to go here. Yay. Cloud computing. No, I'm not going to do that. On demand, over the internet. Keep. What type of cloud deployment does this situation describe? You work for a local charity. Your organization has sensitive data that must remain within your country for compliance reasons. However, you need a solution that can scale quickly to handle seasonal spikes in demand. You decide to keep on-premise resources for compliance and use cloud-based resources for dynamic scaling. So if you're keeping on-premise, you're not just, or how do I say this? And use cloud-based. So it's both, it's and for dynamic scaling. I would say hybrid. Okay, benefits. Brief benefits. I'm not going to do that again. Why is it good? I'm going to go down here at the bottom. A retail business plans to launch a new line of clothing, but they're struggling with accurate predicting how much server capacity they will need. Which benefit of AWS Cloud is most relevant? Stop guessing capacity. Trade upfront expenses for variable expense. Stop spending money to run. Because they don't know how much they need. Stop guessing, but they just need to trade upfront expenses for variable. Oh, it's wrong. This is stops guessing. I'll do it again. Stop guessing. Yeah. The company can be scale. You don't have to guess. Yep, yep. Okay, AWS Global Infrastructure. So here's your region. That's everywhere. That's a big area. And availability zone inside the region. That's the 1, 2, 3. And then the data centers in here, DC 1 and 2. Which statement best describes AWS global infrastructure benefit of high availability? Okay. The business is growing rapidly. A new company decides they need to design a resilient and scalable infrastructure on AWS to handle increased traffic and help ensure high availability. Okay, so AWS stores all of your website's data in a single AWS storage bucket. Has many customer support options to make sure the answers to your questions are highly available. Okay. AWS provides multiple data centers across different geographic regions, so your website can remain operational. That's exactly what we're talking about. It's over the region. I think this drawing is cool. And you shared responsibility. I'm not watching that again. So AWS responsibility is the hardware and the software for the compute storage database, security of the cloud. And this is security in the cloud. So if you get hacked, it's not AWS's fault. That's what they're saying. Server-side encryption. Which one is it? This varies by service. Operating system as well. All right. Let's see. Work for a company that's developing an application. The new security update is available. You are tasked with verifying the OS is patched, which best describes which party is responsible for applying security patches to the operating system that is running in the cloud. I would say we're responsible. Your operating system. It's definitely not separate patches. Let's see here. Yep, it's me. I'm responsible. The customer is responsible for managing the security configurations of patches in the cloud. Sometimes the cloud can do it as well. All right, cloud in real life. This is cool. E-commerce company. Global expansion 1 in Ireland. Global expansion 2 in Singapore. That's cool. So they're based in Seattle. And they're expanding. That's cool. That's really cool. All right. Let's get an 80. Small business is considering migrating their IT infrastructure to the cloud. Okay. The finance team has a meeting with the IT department to discuss the costs associated with this transition. During the meeting, the finance manager says they like the idea of reliability that comes with the cloud, but they're worried about the fixed costs. Which statement accurately defines the cloud computing model and addresses the finance manager's concern? Cloud computing is a model for delivering IT resources over the internet. Cloud computing is basically just using someone else's server to host your website. It does not offer any sort of significant cost advantage. Okay, that's wrong. Cloud computing reduces the need for additional hardware, but still involves significant fixed monthly fees. Cloud computing involves purchasing dedicated servers. Cloud computing is a model for delivering IT resources over the internet. Businesses can rent services on a pay-as-you-go basis. Okay. Submit. Create. Okay, number 2. A large enterprise is looking to lower operational costs. Of course, always. They're hoping to reduce the operational overhead managing their own physical infrastructure, which best describes what advantage of the cloud this enterprise can benefit from. Earlier, we said stop guessing capacity. Stop spending money running and maintaining data centers. Just jump to it. The finance company is interested in migrating to the cloud. They're curious if they have enough staff to secure both their office space and the physical infrastructure of their cloud computing resources. What statement best describes the company's responsibility when it comes to securing physical infrastructure of the cloud? AWS is responsible for securing the physical infrastructure, and the company can focus on securing their data. Yeah, that's it. It's just AWS controls the physical, and AWS controls the data. Your company is planning to launch a new web app. Okay, that will serve around the world, help ensure an application performs well, remains reliable. The IT team plans to use AWS for its vast global infrastructure. What best describes the benefits of AWS global infrastructure related to this situation? Always saving money. Okay, so they're launching a new web app. Help ensure the application performs well and reliable. The IT team plans to use AWS for its vast global infrastructure. Maybe high availability? This situation is serve users around the world. Help ensure application performs well. Remains reliable. IT team plans to use vast global infrastructure. Okay, maybe not cost savings. High availability and fault tolerance. Let's see that one. Yeah, that's it. So the ease of use, compliance, and cost-saving benefits that can be achieved by using cloud resources. However, in this case, the focus is on mainly making resources highly available. That was the main focus. Okay, so you're an architect, and recently migrated infrastructure to AWS. Manager asks you to debrief your team. Okay. Based on the AWS shared model. What's the customer's responsibility? What are we responsible for? Never physical security. Client-side data. Always. So these two are always the opposite. Your manager asks you to debrief your team on which responsibilities a customer has when it comes to securing cloud resources. I would say updating. It just says 2, right? I'm just going to go with these 2. That's correct. So, client-side data, we always have to take care of as the customer. And the operating system patches, I thought AWS could do that too. But when I was looking at these, I was like, that's hardware and physical. And those are the basic things that Amazon has. So I was like, okay, it has to be this one. Physical is AWS responsibilities. All right, which statement best describes the client-server model and its relationship to cloud computing? I feel like I've taken this test before. Your team asks you to explain the client-server model. Client-server model. The client-server model, the server only handles data storage and the client performs all processing tasks. Client sends requests to the server, which processes the request and sends back responses. Cloud computing provides scalable server resources that can be accessed over the internet. All right, client server model, outdated, no longer used. Okay, it's got to be this one. The answer accurately describes the client server model, where the client sends requests to the server. Locations to achieve high availability. You are tasked with explaining the basics of AWS global infrastructure to your chief operating officer. The COO needs help understanding the difference between AWS regions and available zones. I gotta go to bed soon. I'm falling asleep. Which statement best describes the difference between AWS regions and availability zones? Region is geographical location. Availability zone is a distinct location within a region. Let's either one of these two. 3 or more availability zones. Does it have to have? I guess so. 1 or more discrete data centers. Let's try that. A region is a physical location. Availability zone consists of 1 or more discrete data centers. Last one. Oh, thank you, God. A government agency wants to maintain complete control over its IT infrastructure, but plans to use AWS cloud services for specific applications. Yay. That was easy. 100. Okay. Tab. Resources. What else is going on here? Turn to the course details. Right. So that was module 1. Oh, cool. Okay, so this is really where I need to be. AWS Cloud Practitioner Essentials. So I'll just watch these videos tomorrow. Saturday. Videos. Cool, I'll use videos. Practitioner. Essentials. Technical essentials. Cool. Compute in the cloud. Oh, there they all are. That's just the cloud in general, then there's compute specifically. That's awesome. I like this. What is that 1 hour one? This one's 12 hours. That's huge. So compute, explore, compute services, global networking, storage, databases, security, privacy, algorithm, well architect, feedback. Okay. And then take a practice test and take the test. That's what I'm going to do. 12 hours. Easy peasy. I like this. Is really neat. Compute refers to the processing power. EC2. So if I pull that up, I have that. Oh, getting sleepy. Oh man, it's gonna be hard. Set in the console. EC2. There it is. I like to see it here. And you can launch an instance. Launch an instance. I feel like I want to do it in Terraform. Just create it and destroy it. Launch an instance. And they're like, wait a second, you have to have some info in here. Boy, slow down. Builder Center. I want to see the Builder Labs. Do they have Builder Labs in here? Let's see that real quick. LABS. Lab, maybe? Labs. Just get lab. Knowledge, marketplace, tutorials. That's cool. Ooh, Amazon Q's here. You're interested in hands-on tutorials? Oh wow, let's see if I can do this. This is cool. Certified Cloud Practitioner. Let's see what it says. I'm studying for the Certified Cloud Practitioner. What training labs are available? They're going to point me out in the right direction. Retrieving knowledge. Official AWS training labs. And that's essentials. I'm doing that. Hands-on labs. Oh, and then talk about the subscription. Start with a free essential course. Here's the cloud request. What is that? What's that? AWS Immersive Learning. Cloud Quest. Sounds cool. Cloud Quest. subscription. Cloud Practitioner. Oh, no, I don't. This one. What is that? AWS CloudQuest Cloud Practitioner is a basic role-based learning experience. There it is. 12 free hands-on assignments guide you through building real-world solutions. This course is enriched in videos, diagrams, quizzes. Quest.
Welcome to AWS Cloud Quest Cloud Practitioner, the newest way to build your AWS skills. Cloud Quest is an open-world role-playing game that teaches you how to build real AWS solutions using cloud concepts and exercises. As a cloud practitioner, you'll venture on a journey to help the citizens in town transform their city by using cloud solutions. You can take your technical training to the next level by turning business problems into technical solutions through puzzles, simulations, and hands-on labs. As a foundational building block for skill building and career development, Cloud Quest gives you control of your learning journey at your own pace. With tons of customizations, unique assignments, and game modes, Cloud Quest is a continuous learning experience. You can earn rewards to unlock various character styles, pet companions, city themes, and vehicles.
Why is this not pushed harder?
Dive into the world of AWS and embark on the quest.
Yes. Please. Oh my god, that's so awesome. 12 hours. Key. Sign in again, maybe. Oh my god, I gotta go to bed, but I'm just starting this up. No way. This is so cool. I'm trying to get rid of this. What if we did this like other languages? Spanish, Korean, Japanese. They got Chinese, French. Yep, Spanish, Korean, Japanese. Perfect. Oh my god, I'm gonna do this. I'll do it in English, I'll do it in Japanese, and I'll try to learn Spanish. I don't think I'm gonna learn this today. Oh my god. Enable preserve battery life. Where is my cell phone? Oh my gosh, go straight into it. Small text boxes appear when you hover over most interactable elements. That's cool. That's so awesome.
Welcome to the city.
No.
We are happy you decided to join our team.
So
As a new member of our IT staff, you will solve city problems by the Cloud Practitioner job role. Report to the city. A day will help you get started.
oh my god, I gotta do this. Tomorrow morning? I gotta go to bed. Best. You didn't tell me about this. Alright, what do you think about this Cloud Quest? Did not tell me. You did not tell me this was a thing. Yeah, I want to really do the 3D escape room. That costs a lot of money. It's free. It's truly free. It's It's got a sandbox environment. You're a badge. You didn't tell me about that before. These are all the assignments. Oh my god, it's got every level. Okay, so Cloud Practitioner is free. Oh, yep. Gotta subscribe to the higher end. I think I might subscribe after this test. I'll be certified. Cloud Practitioner, which will be that. So I just pick one. I mean, okay, whatever. Sign application. Account manager wants to make sure their web application remains available to customers that use the system. Fail. Okay. Wish you'll be able to design highly available. That's real life. Choose. Badge. Oh, okay, I can do matter one. Maybe like a monster. Maybe a monster. That's a hard choice. I know it'd be small. I'll be big so I can find myself. Just a giant head. Chunky or skinny. We don't want to be skinny and tall. Have any hair? Guess I should be professional. Wow, that's cool. Okay, gotcha. Yes. Oh, I gotta get my headphones on. Stick blue, like these. These show up blue. And boutique. Okay. I look awesome. Why is my hair green? Purple? Green. Oh, we are always working. Okay, cool. This is so fun. Let's use. Underscore. Documents. This is so awesome. Oh my god. This is nuts. Smartphone is your new XR device. It contains assignments from citizens that need your help. Wait, watch out. I love 3D stuff. This is great. Strange, Mrs. Grill always wears a hat. Anyways, click to open your XR device and click. Where out you go. Key. Why did I just put a headset on? Hello, I'm Mayor Jack. Welcome to the city. It's a pleasure to meet you. Most of cities' technical infrastructure takes months to get and set up new resources. Right, this music's throwing me off. What? It takes months to get set up. That's a common problem with provisioning your own infrastructure. Can you give me a specific example? Here's one example. Residents use our city's web portal to check wave conditions at the beach. Surfers look for big waves while families check for calmer conditions to stay safe. The servers that deliver these wave forecasts keep breaking down. We can't seem to keep them running reliably. What if you moved AWS Cloud infrastructure? Your servers and resources would be more reliable, agile, and secure. Because waves keep breaking them. Oh my gosh. Surfers look for big waves. The servers keep breaking down. I've heard a lot about the cloud, but I'm not sure I understand the whole concept. AWS Cloud Computing gives you access to the technology services such as compute power, storage, databases. You get these resources whenever you need them and only pay for what you use. AWS offers hundreds of services to build your solutions. The cloud sounds good, but what about speed? How long does it take to get a new server up and running? Using AWS, you can set up new servers and other resources in minutes. It's faster and costs less than traditional infrastructure. This flexibility can really improve your city's operations. If it's really that quick, we need to get our wave conditions webpage back online. We want to make sure the whole website stays running, even if some hardware fails. Does your wave conditions webpage need to run any special scripts on the web server? We call these server-side scripts. If your website doesn't, it's called a static website. That's what I have. Let me check my notes. Oh, it's static? Oh my god, it's easy. Yes, it helps because your website is static. We can move your website to Amazon S3. That's what I did. And it's a website hosting feature. This will get your site back online quickly and make it more reliable. Plus, you can control who has access to the web page. With Amazon S3, you can store any kind of amount of data and access it from anywhere. After we add your website file to S3, we can turn on the website hosting feature. So this is my learning objectives. I'm getting like points. Don't we need to run a web server to publish the web page? S3 is fully managed service, which means AWS handles all the server work for you. S3 automatically copies your data across multiple data centers to keep it safe and available. Your website on Amazon S3 can handle thousands of visitors at the same time without any extra work from you. Can you start the city? Can you start now? City residents are avoiding the beach because the wave condition website is down. Yes, accept. Can't wait to see. Let's do it. Learn, practice, DIY. This is so cool. I want to see that again. Understand the theory and fundamentals of the cloud. Gain hands-on experience through guided tutorials. Apply acquired knowledge to solve challenges independently. Okay, so those are the three solution overviews. Oh, this is awesome. This is so cool. I love everything 3D. All right, so Bitsy. I'm Bitsy, your solution-centered guide. Aid got you started. Now you learn about AWS services, and we'll build this. So I gotta take this off. I'm not listening anymore. Next, learn, practice, and DIY. All right. So 1 out of 10. What? Wait. No, what happened? Oh, I just skipped something. All right, 1 out of 10. Wait, what? It's going so fast. What is happening? No, we're not going back to classic. This is awesome. Amazon S3 provides storage. S3 overview.
Amazon Simple Storage Service Overview. Amazon Simple Storage Service, or Amazon S3, is an object storage service. An object consists of both data.
Exit solution. Log out. Yes. How do I get back in? That is so awesome. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Oh, there it is. I gotta save this. I'm gonna save this. Where's my study? I need another folder. I'm gonna have another folder just called study. I guess I'll just plug in AWS for now. Okay, over here. This here. Cloud Quest. Cloud. I guess I'll put like a little dash Quest. So it's the learning plan. That's the Cloud Quest. Oh, this is awesome. That is freaking awesome. Why does nobody know about this? Oh, I heard about this. Card Clash. I saw it on somewhere down in here. Card Clash. I gotta do all these things. Card Clash. An interactive architecture design game. Enroll. I gotta enroll in this too. That is awesome. Start? How do I do that? And sign in. I gotta save this page too, I think. Card Clash. That. Oh my gosh. I gotta save this. Save. Done. Oh my gosh. I gotta do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm gonna do this. Start building. Meeting simulator. What is this? This is all subscriptions. Meeting simulator. Is it down at the bottom maybe? Meeting simulator. Only has limited access for me. Let's do fundamental. Access to, is it free? Nothing. Nope. They removed that. Micro-credentials. I'm gonna save that too, I think. What is this page? What is this page called? Immersive learning. So this is probably the best page ever. Immersive learning. Immersive learning. Let's see if we can start building. Credentials. Not available. Free. Preview experience. You can do a preview. We'll see about it though. That's cool. I'll check it out another day maybe. Micro-credentials. is this. Micro credential? Micro credentials. Copy, reproduce, publish, distribute. Oh, I can't do this here. Not on video. So I just gotta. What is that? Oh, that's cool. Okay, we're gonna do this another time. Can't do this on video. I have to do this offline. 30 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Preview experience. Get out of that. Cloud Quest, Simulern, Industry Quest. That? Industry Quest. That free one? That one? Nope. Simulern. Did they have a free version of Simulern? Oh, they do. There's a bunch. What do these do? Develops technical and communicative expertise through realistic customer scenarios. That is cool. There's a lot. That is really cool. Page 2, AWS Simulern, access tier free. You can do anything. Started with generative AI. I guess do it now before it starts cost. They're starting to remove things from the free tier. First steps. Which one is for the fundamental? This is it. Yeah, all the fundamental ones are the free ones. Format. Cloud Practitioner. None of those. Next, I'm going to take the what is it? Professional? No, associate. Architect. There it is. Nope. What is in here then? Developer? I guess none of those. Domain services has nothing to do with the certification. What's the architecting? Nope. Cloud Essentials. Oh, there it is. Cloud Essentials or Artificial Intelligence. Depending on what you want to study. I'll just do Cloud Essentials for now. Cut it down to 11. And roles. I guess it's fine. Cloud Compute and Storage. I think I'll save this list. Alright. Save that. Put it in the chat if anybody wants. That one's a pretty good one. What is this called? Simulern. 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 Okay, so we've got Simulern, Cloud Quest. That's the coolest. Card Clash. That's everything. There's a Simulern. Skill Builder. AWS Builder. GM. What the heck is that? GM. Nope. Nope. That's for big teams. I think that is it. So we had a bunch of views today. Hope everybody had fun. I had fun. And I'm learning. So, goodbye all. Any last questions? Type it in the chat. Or I'll say goodnight. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good night.